Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Just kidding. Miss Wilcox here. I hope you guys had a wonderful spring break. I hope you got to relax and do some fun stuff and kind of get your mind off of virtual learning for a week. I did lots of reading over spring break. Of course, lots of movies, lots of walks outside, stuff like that. As always, let's go ahead and start with our hellos. All right. Hello, Jordan. Hello, Colby. Hello, Declan. Hello, Emily. Hello, Connor. Hello, Saba. Hello, Isha. Hello, Jaden. Hello, Atharva. Hello, Savannah L. Hello, Brooklyn L. Hello, Luke. Hello, Sammy. Hello, Brooklyn C. Hello, Savannah N. Hello, Andres. Hello, Lily. Hello, L. Hello, Ovi. Hello, Irakli. Hello to anyone else that's watching. Any of my other kids, maybe from reading or from math, or maybe I don't have you at all. Thanks for tuning in. All right, let's see if there's any pictures and stuff that I didn't get to show you guys. I can show you some of the places I went to. So I went on a nice walk at Chastain Park. I like photography, so I took some beautiful pictures while I was there. They have a nice little lake. It was pretty to be outside. And then yesterday for Easter, I helped make. Come on now. Come on. What? Oh, wait. You can kind of see it. Oh. You can't really see it, but I helped make a lemon meringue pie, which was delicious. And look what I bought. A Harry Potter joke book. So now I have all the jokes. Are you ready? Okay. So I'm going to read like a bunch every day because this is a big old book and I don't want these jokes to go to waste because everyone needs a good laugh right about now. Okay. Let's see. What did Harry and Ron have in common when they met? One had a scar and the other had scabbers. Get it? Scabs, scabbers, Ron's rat. Let's see. What's Slytherin's favorite subject? History. Get it? History. Like a snake. Let's see if I can find another good one. Where does Harry Potter buy furniture? At the Harry Pottery barn. That's a good one. How does Harry's best friend get his exercise? He runs. Get it? He runs. Oh my god, so funny. Okay, so I'll read a couple of those every day. Oops. Let's go ahead and do our morning song. You'll also need to let me know what song I should use for next year because I do this every year and I just pick a song that kids like that's popular and I make my own words to it. So what song do you want for next year? Yeah, I'm gonna take my knowledge and the things I learned. I'm gonna do great things in this world. I'm gonna take my knowledge and the things I learned. I'm gonna do great things in this world. I got my teacher in my class. They all got my back. We gon' work together, make this year the very best. Name it any course, ha, we will rock them scores. We've been really caring, gotta take care of this family. Can't nobody tell us different. We gon' make a difference. gon' make a difference. Love it. I went and checked the mail yesterday, and guess what I found? A kindness rock, and it was painted like a ladybug, and it made me smile to think that you guys are out there doing that too. And so with a kindness rock, when you find one, what you're supposed to do is take it and move it to a different spot so that someone else can find it. So it was right by my mailbox, so I took it and moved it. We have in my neighborhood, we have like all this green space, and there's benches set up to where you can kind of sit on this trail. And so I went and I put it on a bench. So the next person that sits on that bench will get a little kindness rock. All right, the book I'm going to read today is called The Magician's Hat. All right. Family Fun Day at the library was filled with exciting events. Book scavenger hunts, storytelling, reading rallies. This kind of reminds me of the book camp out thing that the PTO puts on every year that we didn't get to do this year, but it kind of reminds me of all these fun activities and reading with your family. So that is called a text to self connection. I'm thinking about what this story reminds me of in my life. Today, for the first time, a magician arrived with a bag of tricks and a big hat. Everyone gathered around to see the magician perform. Those you can see here, the author made big, bigger than the other words, and made it a different color. So we know that this magician's hat, we don't know how it's special, but we know it's going to be special. He bent a spoon just by looking at it. He made playing cards float in front of his nose. The magician could even make a coin appear from a puppy's ear. And when he waved his wand, a banana vanished. That means disappeared. This was just the warm-up act. Now the magician was ready to dazzle the crowd with his favorite trick of all. The magician's magic started with a story. When I was a kid, my mom and dad brought me to this library on Family Fun Day. During the book scavenger hunt, I wandered into the reading room. Look at all those books. There were hundreds of books. Books about dogs, books about planes, books about the sun and flowers and rain and cities and circus dancers. Out of the hundreds of books, one special book jumped out at me. It was a book about magic. Do you think the book really jumped out at him? No, he just means that book really stood out to him. It caught his eye. I read and I read and I read. Every single word, on every single page, I discovered that this book wasn't just about magic. I learned that books are magic. Even though I was still in the library, those pages and words took me places I had always dreamed of going. This is how I knew I wanted to become a magician when I grew up, and soon after that, I got my magician's hat. So, these places, he's not actually going on. He's reading about them, and the books are kind of taking him on these adventures. So it's like whenever I read Harry Potter, I kind of imagine myself at Hogwarts with them. The Family Fun Day crowd had grown. Kids from all over town were eager to see more of the magician's magic. He asked them, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Amy shouted, "I want to be a dentist." The magician invited Amy to reach inside his hat. Amy dug deep, deep, and then she felt something. It's a book," Amy shouted. The magician asked, "And what's your book about?" "My book's about cleaning teeth, and fixing teeth, and x-rays." Right away, like magic, Amy saw herself holding dental tools, a toothbrush, and a rinsing cup. But in the library, where everyone could see, Amy was hugging her book and smiling. Matt had been watching closely, and after seeing Amy's magic, he wondered, what else is in that hat? He called out, I want to be a famous football player. I wonder what book he's going to pull out of the hat. And so the magician offered Matt his hat. Let's see what magic you can find in here. Matt reached in, way down there, with something that couldn't fit in just one hand. Matt plunged both hands into the hat and pulled. It's a book about football. It even has my name on it. And all at once, like magic, Matt was on the field, running, catching, tackling, punting, sometimes fumbling, sometimes falling, lots of times winning. Ryan called out from the back of the crowd, wait a second, this is not magic. Amy and Matt's parents must have told the magician what they wanted to be when they grow up. The magician asked Ryan, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? This was Ryan's chance to prove that the magician was a fake. He snickered and said, a dog. The magician asked Ryan to reach into his magical hat. Ryan said, I can't feel anything. Sometimes you must really reach and stretch for what you want to be. That's part of the magic. Ryan reached deeper and deeper until his fingers grabbed onto something. He clutched a beautiful book that had nothing to do with dogs. You can kind of tell the magician, if you look at his face, that he's up to something. He's kind of smiling like, he's got something secret up his sleeve. Its pages were filled with letters and paintings and photos and foldouts, stars, planets, rocket ships. Looks like he likes it now. Ryan had always dreamed of becoming an astronaut and exploring the wide open sky, hurtling into outer space and zooming to far off galaxies. Whoa, Ryan whispered. How did you do that? I'm not doing anything, the magician said. You are. I am. But there's got to be a secret trick in those books. The desires that are within you bring out the magic in these books. Follow your dreams, and they will take you wherever you want to go. Now that's my dream, to go to outer space. Oh, the magician turned his hat so everyone could see inside. What are your dreams? That question made all kinds of magic appear. Oh, that book was cute. So one, it taught us that books are magic, right? And they can take you on adventures anywhere you want to go, which is an awesome thing to think about right now because we are kind of stuck at home and we can't really go anywhere. So let's say you and your sibling want to take a trip to outer space, right? Obviously we can't do that, but you can read a book about outer space and you can kind of imagine yourself there and learn facts like you would if you were to travel to outer space, right? And it also taught us to follow our dreams, right? And we can do anything we want to do, right? I always knew when I was little that I wanted to be a teacher, right? And I worked hard, and I went to school, I went to college, I got my degree, and what do you know? Here I am. 5 years later, I've been teaching second grade for 5 years, right? And I love every minute of it. All right, so before I start Wonder, I want to kind of go back. I realized after I finished my video, but this chapter, I didn't really know this word, and so I think I just made up a word, honestly, and said an apparition at the door. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, I know that good readers, whenever they don't know a word that they're reading, they can either use context clues to try and figure it out, or you can always look it up, right? So after I finished reading, I was like, that just doesn't sound right. So I went and I looked it up, and the word that I was trying to say that it actually is an apparition. And I was like, I still don't really know what that means. So I looked up the definition, right? And it says a ghost or ghost-like image of a person. And then I was like, it clicked. I was like, oh my goodness. This whole chapter, remember, is that Via walks out and she sees her mom standing in the doorway of August's room. And she was kind of saying, like, she kind of looked like a ghost standing there, which made way more sense than whatever I said, right? And I have been reading Harry Potter, and there's some words in there that I don't know, either because they're from the magical world, or maybe I just haven't heard them before. So anytime there's a word that I come across that I don't know, and maybe it's a chapter book like this where there's no pictures that you can look at to try and figure out what it means, and maybe I tried using context clues and I just still am not really sure what it means. So if you have a dictionary at your house, remember we looked at dictionaries, you can always look in a dictionary and look up what the word means, or you can always Google the word on an iPad or a phone and it'll tell you what it means. And sometimes there's more than one definition there, and you just have to think about, all right, what makes the most sense here, right? So I just wanted to share that with you guys. A little technique that good readers do to help them better understand what they're reading. All right, so we left off, we're on page 103. Yeah, we're in the hundreds now. This is called Genetics 101. And remember, this is still Via, Augie's sister, that's talking in this section of the book. So we gotta put ourselves in her shoes and imagine that she's kind of telling us this story. Both sides of Dad's family were Jews from Russia and Poland. Papa's grandparents fled there we go again, another word I don't know. So, pogroms maybe? So I'm gonna look it up because I don't know it. Pogroms. Okay, so this says it's an organized... It's an organized, okay, so remember how Martin Luther King, he believed in peaceful ways to end conflicts? So a pogrom is a organized, violent way to go about things with a certain group. So if you remember, Martin Luther King was trying to protect the African Americans, right? And so this is talking about the Jews. So back in this time where his grandparents are living, the Jews are the ethnic group that are struggling with their rights. So he's saying because of this, his grandparents ended up moving to New York City. They left where they were in Russia and Poland, and they came to New York City to kind of get away from all the violence and stuff. Tata's parents fled the Nazis and ended up in Argentina in the 40s. Papa and Tata met at a dance on the Lower East Side while she was in town visiting her cousin. They got married, moved to Bayside, and had Dad and Uncle Ben. Mom's side of the family is from Brazil, except for her mother, my beautiful grands, and her dad. Augusto, who died before I was born, the rest of Mom's family, all her glamorous aunts, uncles, and cousins, still live in Alto Leblon, a ritzy suburb south of Rio. Grands and Augusto moved to Boston in the early 60s, and Mom and Aunt Kate, who married Uncle Porter. Mom and Dad met at Brown University and have been together ever since. Isabel and Nate, like two peas in a pod, moved to New York right after college, had me a few years later, and then moved into a brick townhome in North River Heights, the hippie stroller capital of the upper Manhattan, when I was about a year old. Not one person in the mix of my family gene pool has ever shown any signs of having what August has. I've pored over grainy sepia pictures of long dead relatives, black and white snapshots of distant cousins, soldiers in uniform, ladies with beehive hairdos, Polaroids of bell-bottom teenagers and long-haired hippies, and not once have I been able to detect even the slightest trace of August's face in their faces. Not one. But after August was born, my parents underwent genetic counseling. They were told that August had what seemed to be a previous unknown type of, this is a big word, mandibulofacial dysos. I don't even know these medical terms, which is caused by a recessive mutation in the TCOF1 gene, which is located on chromosome 5, complicated by a hemifacial microsomia characteristic of OAV spectrum. Sometimes these mutations occur during pregnancy, and sometimes they're inherited from one parent carrying the dominant gene. Sometimes they're caused by the interaction of many genes, possible in combination with environmental factors. This is what's called a multifactorial inheritance. In August's case, the doctors were able to identify one of these single nucleotide deletion mutations that made war on his face. The weird thing is, though you'd never know from looking at them, both my parents carry that mutant gene, and I carry it too. So that chapter was a little bit confusing with those big words, but they're pretty much just saying that everyone's made up of genes, right? So my dad has brown eyes, my mom has green eyes. Well, okay, where did I get my blue eyes from? Well, my grandpa had blue-gray eyes, which is what he passed on to me. And so they're just saying that there's a specific gene that both parents carry that caused August to have the mutations on his face that he does. And this kind of makes me think about this year too with genetics because of my tumor that I had to go get genetic testing done to see if there is a chance that I have a gene that would give me either another tumor or that I could maybe pass down to my kids one day. Luckily, it all came back negative, and I don't have any more genes where I could get another tumor. But this just makes me think about my testing and stuff. So another text-to-self connection. Alright, so this chapter is called the Punnett Square, and that's something that you'll probably learn about in high school, I would say. If I have children, there's a 1 in 2 chance that I will pass on the defective gene to them. That doesn't mean they'll look like August, but they'll carry the gene that got double dosed in August and helped make him the way he is. And if I marry someone who has the same defective gene, there's a 1 in 2 chance that our kids will carry the gene and look totally normal, and a 1 in 4 chance that our kid will not carry the gene at all, and a 1 in 4 chance that our kid will look like August. If August has children with someone who doesn't have a trace of the gene, there's a 100% possibility that their kids will inherit the gene, but a 0% chance that their kids will have a double dose of it like August did, which means they'll carry the gene no matter what, and they could totally be normal. And if he marries someone who has the gene, their kids will have the same odds as my kids. This only explains the part of August that's explainable. There's other parts in his genetic makeup that's not inherited and just incredibly bad luck. Countless doctors have drawn little tic-tac-toe grids for my parents over the years to try and explain this genetic lottery to them. Geneticists use these Punnett squares to determine inheritance, recessive and dominant genes, probabilities, and chances. But for all they know, there's more they don't know. They can try to forecast the odds, but they can't guarantee them. They use terms like Goodness gracious. Germline mosaicism, chromosome rearrangement, or delayed mutation to explain why their science is not at exact science. I actually like how doctors talk. I like the sound of science. I like how words you don't understand explain things you can't understand. There are countless people under words like germline, all these words are killing me, mosaicism, chromosome rearrangement, or delayed mutation. Countless babies who will never be born like mine. So pretty much what those chapters were saying is August looks the way he does because of the genes he got from his parents. And it doesn't explain all of his issues, but it explains a good bit of them, which is what those chapters were trying to say with all those fancy words. All right, let me find my challenge for you. Mr. C gave me some good ideas. Okay, here we go. And I was going to show you guys my plant, but it doesn't have much growth right now, so we're just going to give it some more sun and some water and hope that it continues to grow so I can show you guys. Okay, let's see. Okay. This was Mr. C's idea, and I really like this one. Okay, this is called Operation Ninja Maid. Operation Ninja Maid, okay? So, with Operation Ninja Maid, your job is to clean up any area of your house that might be a little bit messy. So, I FaceTimed some of you guys, and some of your rooms are a little messy, or maybe your closet. You just throw stuff in your closet when you're cleaning up. Maybe your playroom has Legos all over the floor. Maybe your reading area has books everywhere. Secret Ninja Maid. So, your job, your challenge is to clean up that area secretly. So, you don't want anyone to know it was you that cleaned it up. Okay, so let's say your mom walks into your room and she's like, oh my goodness, like, your room is so clean, who did that? You're like, oh my goodness, I don't know, it was this secret ninja maid, I don't know. But I can guarantee you it'll make someone in your house happy to have an area secretly cleaned up. Cool beans? Alright, hug it out. Ugh, I miss you guys so much, I can't even explain. Alright, this is a long video, so I'm going to get off here. I love you guys, and I will be seeing you tomorrow.